Hello, and welcome to this week's Movie Math, where we continue to have a surprising amount of things to discuss, even in the middle of a pandemic. Oh, the drama. And if you want drama, perhaps a little too much drama, well, we have a tough first subject to run here. It's a bit of a gauntlet, but I think it's important to discuss. It's a reality. It's happening. The entertainment industry is going to be a part of it or be affected by it. And so we're going to go here. I think I've been very fair and reasonable in my breakdown here. And I would hope that you would wait at least until the end of my breakdown before, as I've been saying, you pop off in the comments down below. Because we have to wonder, will the change in leadership in the White House help Hollywood in its battle against coronavirus? I know, but as I said, it's a legit question, and I don't shy away from legit questions. So Biden is rumored to be naming a 12-person coronavirus task force tomorrow. But they wouldn't be able to put anything into effect until after Inauguration Day, which is January 20th. And I think that because Washington is still pretty contentious, even though Joe Biden does have a reputation as a deal maker, someone who's able to compromise with the other side, I don't think he's going to be able to do that out of the gate. I think it's still going to be a little difficult. So while I would hope everybody could put their differences aside and we could move forward judiciously, I think things will be probably slow moving, at least in the beginning. But a Biden administration might also be more open to advocating for a relief package for not just Hollywood, but Broadway as well. Remember, the UK has already done this. They've done a relief package for all their theaters, both projection and live performances. The current administration has had no interest in bailing out entertainment, and many of you don't want to bail out entertainment. But the Democratic Party has incredibly strong ties to the entertainment industry and get a lot of their financing from the entertainment industry. So they would, there's certainly discussions taking place there, and I'm sure that Hollywood and Broadway would be like, hey, could you help me out? And I think that the Biden administration would be, of course, open to, again, advocating for such a package, a relief package. But Congress would still need to approve that package, and it's still up in the air as to who will control Congress. We won't know that until January as well, as there's a runoff vote for Georgia's 2 senators. It's that close when it comes to who's going to be in control of the Senate. And none of the candidates in Georgia were able to get a majority. So I think it's like January 5th or something. That race will be very closely watched because there's a lot on the line there, for Hollywood included. And even if Biden's coronavirus task force is able to implement new rules, like, say, a nationwide federal mask mandate, which they have discussed, well, Biden has floated it around there, and a number of people have, Europe, which hasn't politicized masks nearly as much as the United States, still couldn't escape a harsh new wave of coronavirus, which has led to a new round of lockdowns, including movie theaters, which was a devastating blow for Hollywood, who felt even if movie theaters, in the United States, well, a lot of them are open in the United States, just nobody's going, but at least they had Europe, and now that's cut off as well. So I don't know if I think this is where I think that Biden could make a genuine difference in the short term. And this is no small thing. Allow me to explain. And what I'm talking about is consumer confidence. Confidence that others will wear masks. Confidence in a vaccine when it's ready. And confidence that good health care will be available if one does get sick. It's true. Less people are dying from coronavirus, even though more people are getting it. However, we're still, I'd say, couple of weeks before we really know if the death rate will jump as high as the new cases rate has jumped. It takes about 2 to 4 weeks for someone tragically to pass away from coronavirus, so there's a little bit of a lag in the two numbers, new cases and deaths. Also, there's been really no information as to how many people are left with long-term side effects from coronavirus. They never fully recover. That's very scary. And I think the lack of information overall about coronavirus and the things that could happen to you has been part of the problem. So if we can at least get some more transparency there, I think that would go a long way towards confidence as well. Now, some of you might be like, hey, I'm already confident. I don't need this, I'm on the other side. I don't know why you think Biden's going to make a difference. Well, let me explain it to you. Remember, it's people in the big cities who go to the movies the most. You might not like it, but it's true. It's been proven by the pandemic because theaters in other areas are open and no one's going. But with people in the cities clearly don't feel safe. It's more crowded in big cities. People feel more at risk. And they are Democrats for the most part. We saw that distinction made very clear during the election. So people in big cities are the ones who go to the movies the most. They're currently not going, and big cities are Biden country. So yeah, it's reasonable to conclude that the big cities will look to Biden for how they feel in terms of consumer confidence. So it's a big one. It's a very big deal. Also, again, as I said, Biden is known for his ability to compromise, and he might be able to get another economic stimulus package passed, maybe more than one, because we're looking at, I think, the whole winter here. So that would go a long ways to ease people's financial problems, which would give them more money to spend on digital releases, if not theatrical ones. So again, we could see a boost in consumer confidence, at least in the big cities, which are the ones that are mostly sitting out the entertainment business right now, and then also in people's expendable income. So I think those are two very real differences that Biden could make. Again, I'm trying to be realistic as to what we could see in the next couple of months. But when it comes to movie theaters, we're still really looking at a timetable where people will not return to movie theaters in a meaningful way until March 2021 at the earliest, which I told you the industry has already internally guessed. My sources tell me that's really the working knowledge they're already going with. There should be a vaccine by then and the return of warmer weather. The problem with cold weather is it drives more people inside. It's hard to be outside. It's hard to eat outside, hard to do things and stay outside. So people are driven indoors. So there's more spread of the coronavirus. And it's not just indoors versus outdoors, but with the cold weather, people's sinuses get dried out, with heat in your homes and when you go to stores and when you're inside. And if you have dry sinuses, you're more susceptible to get infected by anything from a cold to the flu to coronavirus. And so that's why you see higher infection rates in the winter. So that's a real problem. I guess go run your nose under some water before you're going to go see a movie. All right, but you should have a mask on. All right, so anyway, I would say during the next few winter months, studios and movie theaters, this time, will they listen to us and build more drive-in theaters? And in urban areas where people don't have as many cars, outdoor theaters like the ones in New York City parks. There's no reason they couldn't do that with social distancing built into the way it's put up. And I would think also update all theaters with top-notch air filtration systems, and again, be transparent about that being done. Here's an idea I had. Restaurants get health grades, right? So movie theaters, and in fact, all indoor businesses could get health grades as well. You could have local inspectors grading indoor facilities in terms of their filtration system, frequent cleaning, enforcing social distancing, etc. And they could put a grade on the front of the establishment. I think a federal task force could suggest such an idea, and I think that effort would probably save the rest of 2021, not just for movies, but for all businesses. Again, it's about consumer confidence. That's why I think that's going to be the next big hurdle, and I think that would go a long way. Obviously, it's surprise inspections for health grades, and so I think it would be reasonably effective. Now, as for 2020, and then there was one. Although, as many of you pointed out, there's also Monster Hunter, but nobody cares about Monster Hunter. But anyway, basically only Wonder Woman 1984 is left. We'll talk about that in a moment because it's not really left. So yes, on Friday, even Disney couldn't stoop so low as to send its Fox movies to the obvious slaughter, and they pulled them from the release schedule with no new dates. They can't just put them on Disney Plus, though, because they have an existing deal between Fox and HBO, so they're stuck. They're in a bad place, and Disney doesn't care about these movies, so they're not going to work really hard to find a way to do anything with them. They're like, we don't care when we release them. You would think maybe then they would just put them in theaters, but I think, they obviously don't want to, I guess they don't want to have anyone, I'm not quite sure they wouldn't just put them in theaters, to be honest with you. It's interesting that they decided to pull them. Now, as I tweeted to you late last week, I've heard from my sources that Warner Brothers has already decided to move Wonder Woman 1984 to 2021, most likely June. And the reason I heard for that was to give the Warner Brothers publicity team a breather before having to start up their ad campaign again. They want to be able to make Wonder Woman 1984 seem fresh. It's going to take quite the ad campaign to make that movie seem fresh. I think it's been proven by now that it's better to have simply moved to, I think everyone who just moved their movie really far back was the better move, because other films are suffering the death of 1,000 new release dates. Do you think that you would still, I don't know. You're still going to see Wonder Woman. I think you would. I think also, especially if there's a bit of a breather. If they're like, look, it's going to be 6 months. And you'll be like, fine. All right, because, everybody already knows what they're going to know. Don't be surprised if all January and February release dates also go the way of the dodo, except for Universal. Yes, Universal is having quite the test of its new deal with AMC, that 17-day window, a deal which has allowed them to be the only studio in the theatrical space right now. Now, so far, Uni has not been able to get outside of the new normal, $4 million opening weekends. That's it. That's how much business is out there right now. $4 million. That's it. That's how much money a movie can open with. Or is it? Freaky, starring Vince Vaughn this Friday, and The Croods later this month from DreamWorks Animation will be the real test. If they can't get over $4 million in their opening weekends, that will be a disaster. But if they can get up there, if they can get a little bit more money, that would be very, very good. And maybe other studios would suddenly, remember AMC said Warner Brothers was talking to them as well, so maybe other studios would cut a deal as well. Because remember, Universal doesn't have to exercise the 17-day window on all of its movies. It can pick and choose. It just has to share the digital profits with AMC if they choose to do that. I think, there could be something here. Let's see how Freaky and The Croods do. Now, over on digital, it's still almost impossible to tell how movies are performing. On PVOD, Premium Video on Demand, that's where you pay a price point it's like an a la carte menu. The numbers aren't made public unless the studio chooses to release them. And for the most part, they're choosing not to. However, I hear Warner Brothers is hoping to have a beautiful headline for Tenet when it hits digital and store shelves simultaneously December 15th. Remember last week I told you when it hit 350 worldwide, they'd release the date, although it had been floating around on Reddit for like a week or so. But sure enough, yes, they reached 350 this past week and they announced the date, December 15th. I hear from my sources that Warner Brothers has a lot of pressure on them from AT&T about their pandemic performance, so they'd like to be able to point to a big win, and that would hopefully be the digital sales. So if Warner Brothers doesn't report that number, which they're very eager to do, then it must be really bad. Over on streaming, who knows the true criteria for a view or the actual value it brings to these subscription services? Variety released a chart late this week that many of you sent to me that said Borat was second only to Hamilton for SVOD movies for the year. What's that mean? That's subscription video on demand, where you pay for the service overall and the content on it is free, except for Mulan, which has that asterisk because of that. Anyway, I can't believe that My Spy is number 3. To me, that's the real headline there. No wonder Amazon has been trying to get Dave Bautista to sign on for a sequel, but so far, he has not agreed. I don't know. It's probably maybe the biggest hit of Dave Bautista's career where he's the star. I think he should consider it. It was I liked that movie. It was good. And it's nice to see The Trial of the Chicago 7, very rare for any of Netflix's awards fair to get up there. And The Witches, also in the top 10. I think that's great. Mulan is in there too, as you can see, and hopefully we'll get some more details on its economic performance this Thursday with Disney's earnings report. I'm very excited. It's a big week. It's very slow last week because of the election, but Hollywood's making up for the lost time this coming week. As for the latest month-late Nielsen ratings, it seems that at the beginning of October, Bly Manor and Hubie Halloween were indeed the 1-2 punch for Netflix that everyone thought it was because they did very well on the service itself. And Nielsen's ratings are basically Netflix's ratings, right? Schitt's Creek is still number 1, but that's a Netflix show. Only The Boys is the only non-Netflix show on the list. As for Netflix's top 10 this week, The Queen's Gambit is such a huge hit, back to number 1. I did watch it. I thought it was very good in the beginning, but I felt it really lost its way after a while and fell apart. But I will say that I think it's a breakout moment, finally, for Anya Taylor-Joy, who's been flirting with having a breakout role for a very long time now. I think this is it, and it'll go a long way to helping her take over for Charlize Theron as Furiosa. It's still not cool to do that, to I think, discriminate against Charlize Theron for ageism, but I think Anya Taylor-Joy, she's, I think, finally going to be someone that a lot of people know, and I think that'll take some of the edge off that unfortunate situation. Tom Holland's Stans powered his 2012 film debut, The Impossible, to number 2. It's a great movie. I'm so happy people are watching it. I don't care why, but loving Tom Holland's not a bad reason to watch it. I'd say the same about Mile 22. That's right, Mile 22. That's an awesome action movie. It's not like an amazing film, but it's a really good guilty pleasure. 4 older films overall are in the top 10. Talk about a guilty pleasure. That Keanu Reeves movie has co-stars Ana de Armas, has like a threesome in it. It's a little bit like the 365 movie that did so well on Netflix. Basically, it's kind of inappropriate, which is why it's doing so well. And it also has Keanu Reeves in it. So that's up there. And then also 2 of Netflix's new original holiday films are in the top 10. Their goal to be the new hallmark for Christmas movies is turning out quite well. And Chappelle's show was added to Netflix last Sunday, but after a shout out from Chappelle on SNL last night, it's popped into the top 10 finally. I'm sure the whole week has helped as well. Chappelle's show is also available right now on HBO Max and CBS All Access, but for the most part, he mentioned HBO Max last night, but at the end of the show, he really only plugged it on Netflix, at the very end. And I think that's because Netflix has become his new home, from comedy specials to just appearing on season 2 of Letterman's Netflix show. Over on iTunes, well, as you can see, they're desperately in need of some new top-notch studio content. Right now, Joel Kinnaman and Nat Wolff are the best that they can do. And I'm only going to be reporting to you on services that actually rank product. Trending is too vague. You have to actually rank it like with a number, I think, for us to count on it. It's just otherwise, it's just a suggestion, I feel. You can't differentiate it from a potential advertising tool. All right, so as for this coming week, a surprisingly large number of movies are hitting theaters. So next week's box office report will be mighty interesting. Freaky, as I said, hits theaters, as does Mel Gibson's Fatman and Margot Robbie's Dreamland. Now, while you'll have to wait 17 days to see Freaky on digital, both Fatman and Dreamland hit digital next Tuesday. So the 17th, just about 5 days, one weekend after they debut in theaters. Mank also hits theaters on Friday, but won't hit Netflix until December 4th. They do about a month. That's their theatrical window. It really hurts them, though, because I'm going to review it this week. Everybody reviews it for the theatrical release, but nobody pays attention to the theatrical release. And then by the time it hits the streaming service, you've all forgotten that anyone reviewed it. Like, for instance, when I reviewed Trial of the Chicago 7 like a couple of weeks early, I got a number of you saying, Grace, are you going to review the Trial of the Chicago 7? And I'm like, I did when it hit theaters. I think that this is a bit of a problem for them. So anyway, as I said, next week's box office will be very interesting. As for streaming, the only real thing coming out this week, there's some FX on Hulu thing about sleeping with your teacher. So that's going to come out. But then also on the other side of the spectrum, you have the wholesome Jingle Jangle, which is very early for a Christmas movie, but it'll be the third one that Netflix has debuted already this year. That hits again on Friday. So what have you been watching? What do you plan to watch? And do you think that the Biden administration will be able to do anything for Hollywood? From consumer confidence to legislation to coronavirus mandates, etc. All right, share those thoughts down below. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.